Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach,
I'm Mac.
And I'm Pepper.
and today we're back with our top 70 games of all time. We're just starting off, as you can see, the first 10 in this series. But we also have a giveaway going alongside this. For sure, we are giving away shipwrights of the North Sea Redux. And then if we hit some stretch goals, so to say, we may give away some more. So go check out that video to see the rules on how to enter, but likely be commenting on this video. So leave us a comment with your 70 through 61.
It's a very specific section we are asking for.
Specifically this section.
Because we know everybody has a top 70.
Exactly. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel, and then you can kind of see once you get into the top 10. And most people should have maybe a top 5 at it. They have a small collection, otherwise top 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're starting with
Starting with me, huh?
Michaela this year. It's a little bit different. We're not all together in the same spot, so
yes,
it's going to be a slideshow. We're going to see how this goes. Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you like this better, or would you rather have it all together in person?
Yeah, I am waiting for just chaos and terrible things to happen here, but who knows? So, Michaela, you lead us into your number 70.
All right. Well, my top 70, my number 70, is a brand new to me game, and we played it a few times. So it is Nova Roma.
I got that one right.
Woo! Yeah, so I've been kind of cautiously having fun with this one. It's kind of it's a little thinky. You kind of got to get things right, and I think it's interesting though because the grid system of what actions you can take kind of changes every game, which I think is really unique because it can force you into kind of a different play style than kind of doing the always constant optimized action set. So I'm cautiously approaching this game. I wouldn't say that I'm like full gung-ho on it yet, but I like it well enough, and I think it's neither medium weight nor is it heavy. It's kind of right in between. So I think it has some good pieces to it. So Nova Roma.
Yeah. I think it's got some replayability with the way those actions, like you said, line up. It kind of changes the feel of the game from game to game. This is a solid choice, but maybe should have been a little bit higher on your list.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, we can be expecting it later. I can tell I've my detective skills at work there.
Yeah, I'd call this one the opposite Targi. If you've ever played Targi, it's kind of you're doing things around the edge and then finding a point in the middle, whereas this time you're kind of in the middle and pointing out to the two edges. So
that's true.
If you like that, you might want to check this one out.
Have you played this one, Jesse?
I have played it once. I liked it quite a bit. Didn't make my list. I'll say it's my 71. It was
your first
cool.
of many.
Yes, yes.
I'm always bending the rules for this countdown every time.
No, it's good. It's good and looks nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, Nova Roma, was a little intimidating going into it, but I found myself enjoying it. And my number 70 was also intimidating right away, but for being a pretty heavy game, it's probably the heaviest game that I like as much as I do, whatever, I don't know what ratio that would be. It is Clans of Caledonia. This is not a Pepper game at all. It's filling orders, going out on the board, really crunchy with the amount of money that you have. It gets really tight really quickly, and you're trying to just set up an engine to be able to produce these resources and fill these orders, and each one that you're able to do, they get more and more expensive to take throughout the game, which just kills you and guts you later when you're like, oh, I'll just get one. Wait, that took half my bank to get. But I just still love this game. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's just the player boards are laid out really well. It's got awesome pieces, and it just makes sense. It just clicks in my brain for some reason. The cost of the spots, the cost of the pieces. I don't know. I just find myself always looking on this one fondly.
Yeah, I like this one maybe a little bit better than you even. It's one that's on Board Game Arena actually. So you can try it out there, you guys, if you've played on Board Game Arena. It's a great implementation of it, great way to learn the game. And I think they're having a Kickstarter or something. I think it's supposed to be sometime soon. I would guess within the next month or so. So if this is one you've been trying to get your hands on, I think they're gonna have a expansion for it as well. So I highly recommend this game. Even more than Pepper. That is a good choice. Mac, not so much.
I haven't played this game in years, and I just remember thoroughly not understanding it, but that was when we were super new at our board game hobby. So maybe on a replay I'd understand it better, but I just remember not always. I'm not always a big fan of a market component either, so that could be part of it. But
I
Yeah,
feel like the more times I've played this one, the more I utilize the market, and I think it just opens up additional ways to get points. So
yeah. My last couple games that we played on Board Game Arena started using it a little bit more, and I think it really did help my game. So sadly, I think you're going to have to use it.
so those little lines mean it has not been on your list
So yeah,
previously.
those lines, if you've noticed on the bottom right of the screen, that's where the previous 3 years that if it's placed on our list, where it placed will be listed in order from top to bottom. These first two games, they've never been on either of our lists before. Are you going to change that with your 70, Zach?
We are going to continue this trend of never being on there before, but we are not going to continue the trend of heavier games. This is probably could potentially be the latest game on my list. I'd have to take a closer look at my whole list, but it's definitely one of the top 3 lightest, and that is Panda Royale.
Ooh, boy.
Yes, Panda Royale. This one is just I don't know, it's just a luck game. You're drafting some of these different dice you can see on the screen there, and just rolling them, and kind of whatever results you get, you just that many points, or like some of them are double, some like the red ones, there's positive and negatives potentially, and a multiplier. So that can be fun as well. So there's not like a ton to the game, but there's just something about it that's been really fun. It's probably been one of our most played games in the last 6, 7 months. We just got to get it to the table a lot. It's a quick game. You can play up to 10, and I feel like it. I don't know if we've ever played up to quite that high, but I think we've gotten up to like 7 or 8, and it still played pretty well. So I think it probably scales well. But yeah, if you like mitigation in your dice rolling games, like a Yahtzee, where you get multiple rolls, you don't get that in this one. So that could be a place where people might not like it. But if you just want kind of a fun, fast, loose game, I would highly recommend checking this one out. Uh, we were sent a copy from Last Night Games, just so people are aware. Uh, but I still love it. Has nothing to do with being sent the game. It's been a lot of fun.
Then the next 5 games are Last Night Games. But yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. It's hard to find different images. It's pretty much all dice. That's all there is to this game. As you can see on Zach's slide here, he is known as the Stonemaier guy, the Garphill guy, and we've talked about if he's really transitioned from Stonemaier to being a Garphill fan most. So we're going to keep count throughout this. And I don't think this section is going to be that interesting for that count. Spoiler alert.
gotta keep an eye on Pepper. All right.
The best number, Mac. What do you got?
I think I'm breaking the trend of new to the list, so that's good. My number 69 was 60 last year, so barely made it into the cut, I think.
Right. So
Yeah.
last year we added and went to 60. We originally the first time we did it we were at 50. Went to 60, and now this year we've done 70. So next year we'll do 80 games that we're ranking. So some of them, even though they're dropping, they might kind of have a chance
Just
to
barely holding on to the ledge.
I wouldn't say that this one's barely holding on. It's still a really strong game, and that is not Toluca or not Tilica.
Oh boy, she's got the Shem.
I got the Shem to start with.
I guess not Garf.
Yeah. I still think this is just really fun game. It's pretty simple, but at the same time makes you think a little bit. Essentially, you're trying to complete orders on your cards by taking a single row of dice, and the key is you can only take a specific number. You can't just take the color of dice. So you have to kind of choose and then go through and try and get those um orders filled to the best of your ability and get some points, baby. So this is really simple, approachable. We really like it. I really enjoy it. I think it's super approachable. I think it's only fallen just because we play lots of new games, and it's always hard to kind of adjust for like where the new games fall. So I think this is still a really strong contender, and really wanted to make sure it got on the list just because there are so many games we play. But super fun, adorable little colors and pictures and images.
Yeah. If you didn't know, even though it's not Garfield, it is Jim Phillips. Which I don't think this one made my list. But we also have not played it in a little bit, so
Yeah.
it might have just fallen because of that, and have several new games on the list that have made the list this year. So
Yeah, I mean, we played probably like 40 games. Well, maybe Michaela might not have played as many as us, but I know we've played a lot on Board Game Arena, so it's competitive.
it's a solid choice.
Okay, my number 69 is, I don't think it was on, I guess we'll find out when it made my list, but I just grew to appreciate this one a lot more over time, pretty much just in one play, where I was just reminded by how unique and stand-up moment filled this game is, and that is Minara. It's
Stand
a
up
dexterity
moment.
game. Ha ha ha. This game is, I don't think there's any other game on my list that is like this. You are cooperatively, you start off cooperative, and you do want to win together as you are building, getting these cards that tell you what to add to this tower with either a pillar or then having to add a whole new floor and not wanting it to tip over. But as the game goes along and it gets taller and taller, no one wants to be the one to tip it over. So then it almost becomes a competitive game where you're hoping just anyone but me, just anyone but me. Okay, I passed my turn. One of those other two is going to tip this over and I'll be fine. So it's a unique feel to a game. I love it. It's always leaves you, well, it either leaves you with a pile of rubble or a really awesome creation.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel like it's one where, yeah, you get to the point where you're taking a picture like every time before someone puts on the next piece, just knowing it could be the time that it falls, trying to get that most complete picture. I was surprised this one was 22 last year. I didn't remember it
Yeah,
being
I
that
don't,
high.
I don't remember it being that high, but it was on my list. So I guess this is
Must
a
have just
massive
played
draw.
it or something.
So yeah, we've had this a long time. I'm guessing all 4 years now. Didn't make the list the first 2 times. Shot up to 22. Settled down to a sweet 69.
Yes, it did. But yeah, I'll see what Pepper put for my 69. I wrote this down and I really probably just meant more of a universe of games because this one's probably what I wrote down is probably what I've played the least of, but I put down My City, but I really meant like My Island and My City Roll and Write.
I just threw
Uh,
my city out there.
yeah, it's they're kind of all the same, I would say, or very, very similar. Yeah, My Island, we played through that whole campaign. That was one of the games we got from Gen Con last year. Had a lot of fun with that. It's a nice, fun campaign game. My City, from the few that I have played, I don't think I've completed that one, but
Yeah.
kind of a similar feel, and it's just fun to try to fill in your polyomino grid, and then they start adding additional rules to it where got to get these colors together or something, or I don't remember if there was any that were they shape related, but then you're trying to not leave any gaps and stuff, and then we did is it roll and write, draw and write? What was it? Build and write? We
What
tried
was
out.
it? I forget what it was called, but yeah, rolling right. Yep.
Yeah, and that one was fun too. That one has the randomness of dice, so you could potentially have like the same shapes come over and over again or something, and it brings kind of a little bit more of a push your luck to it because you can sometimes roll like these single spaces or whatever to fill in your math. I remember one of the games where I just like kept going after you stopped and was able to fill in a ton more because it kept rolling like a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1. So it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It's definitely a lighter one. For being the person that likes heavier games, I've already got 2 very light games on here.
That's
Oh,
because the
yeah.
heavy ones are coming.
Yeah, that's
Reiner
true.
Knizia, the doctor.
That's true. They
One
fill
for
up the
him.
whole top.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, back to me, huh?
Mhm.
Okay, 68. Another brand new to me one this year. And I've been enjoying learning it a little bit. And it is Path of Civilization, right? That's what the title is. Yeah, okay. It's got a long title. So I wasn't sure if I got it completely right. But we played this one a couple of times now, and I'm finding it really fun to manage kind of the whole, I would say it's probably engine-ish,
Yeah,
kind
you're
of.
kind of building up.
Yeah, it's kind of a good flow where you either do one action and get these items, or you do other things and you kind of get, wouldn't really call them resources, but points, I guess you'd maybe call them in that type or style of thing. So, we really liked it. We've taught it to one of your friends. I don't know, it's just really clean, it's really simple. I love, and you can kind of see it in one of the pictures at the bottom, but it kind of says like A, B, C. So it kind of like guides you through your whole round and turn. And it gives you nice like identifiers for what you're trying to do that round. And those can be switched out, which I think comes with some nice replayability. And I've just really enjoyed trying some different things and learning more about them, going for different cards, trying some things. And I think it'll be a good one. I expect to see it move up, I think, in the list. So.
Yeah, it's got a very nice flow to the game and how turns are structured, and it's a lot of simultaneous, which makes it quick and snappy for
My
most of it.
favorite.
I love when they can do that, and it's like, okay, yeah, everyone take your whatever, everyone do this, everyone do this. There's a little bit where you kind of have to look at what other people are doing, but um, just the right amount where it's not like, oh, now I gotta wait another 5 minutes till my turn comes around type thing, which is always nice when it's a quick game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
This
it's pretty good.
is a really quick game. I played it once on Board Game Arena.
That would probably made it even quicker than it is
It
in
did.
person.
But yeah, I was gonna say this one's on Board Game Arena, but outside of my island, I think all those My City ones are also on Board Game Arena. So anyone wants to try some of these games so far, they are all available on it.
Speaking of
Maybe
Board
even
Game
comment
Arena,
below. We might play them with you.
yes,
Ooh, giving out celebrity gameplay.
yes, that's the
Yes.
other giveaway.
Could play a game with one of us. Oh man.
Speaking of Board Game Arena, my 68, we played on Board Game Arena one time, and I was scared of it because you suggested it, Zach. And as you were reading the rules, I just completely flipped, did a 180, and I said, "This sounds amazing. I hope the gameplay is just as good as I think it will be." And it was. It was golden gameplay. It was River of Gold. On this one, it's the River of Gold is the main central part of this game, and it's awesome. One, it looks amazing. We haven't played a physical version, but I'm really tempted to make you get it, Zach, because this board looks amazing. You're rolling your die and either moving your boat down the river that amount of spaces and activating. As you can see, it's kind of like a triangular spots on the board, and you get to activate all the little nodes, all the little spots on the edges surrounding those. So you're getting 4 benefits throughout the game. You upgrade those benefits and claim spots along the river, gaining passive benefits when others go there, buying, fulfilling orders, getting cards, gaining influence in different areas. A lot of good stuff in this game. I loved it. For only playing it once, most of the time, it doesn't quite break my 70, but this one did.
Yeah, it is a great choice, Pepper. I applaud that choice. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think the only thing that could maybe be seen as a negative is the dice rolls. I don't know if there's a little mitigation there, but
Yeah.
if you kept rolling bad, it could, or not bad, but because you can usually do something, but if you kept rolling things you didn't want and were far away, that could potentially lead you
That's
to have a
true.
bad
That's
time.
true. There is a
But
resource
outside of it,
to mitigate it, but I was used to playing Rajas and not really getting like the karma to mitigate the dice. I think it's more important to get that resource in this game than it is
I
in
agree.
Rajas.
Yep, good choice. Um, but was it a clever choice? I don't know. But my number 68 is another group of games. So I'm already pulling the pepper and cheating and adding all these games together. I put That's So Clever, or That's Pretty Clever, Gone Shown Clever. But this is actually for kind of all the games in there. I added them as apps and was playing them for a while. And uh, so it's got the second, third, and fourth. I think the fourth one, Clever Forever, was probably the one I've enjoyed the most. But they all kind of have the like you can see here. There's a lot of bonuses that you can get. They all do it slightly differently. So it's the same kind of concept for each one of the games. I don't know that you would necessarily need them all, but they all, I think, have their own strengths and weaknesses of categories on the sheet. And yeah, you're just trying to fill in as much as you can and get as many points as possible. Most of the time, trying to kind of balance it out a little bit to make your foxes worth a lot if you can get some of those.
Yeah.
And I just like that having multiple versions because, like, I felt like I've got the strategy, so to say, down for this first one, maybe. We're going to try to do a certain thing to try to maximize, and then it just comes more down to the actual dice rolls themselves. But I haven't played the other ones enough to really, for sure, know what to do yet. So trying to figure out that puzzle. But yeah, it's a good set of games. I think you could be happy with any of them.
Yeah, I played the first three. Now I got to get the fourth one after your recommendation.
Yeah, I kind of thought, I'm like, do they really need a fourth? It was pretty good. Pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good one. I always just get murdered at it by both of you. I just can't keep up. Can't do it.
You tell yours. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. My number 50 is, wait, hang on. I said that
Yeah,
backwards. My number 67 was 50 last year. And that's mainly just because I don't really know what to do with this game. Oh,
Oh my goodness! He got it. I summoned
did.
it right now.
When you said that one, I was like, wait a minute, isn't that one that came in the mail the other day?
I've been waiting for it to come off of pre-order.
All right. So back to my mess up here. My 67 is Charterstone. And we played this actually as a group of 4, the 3 of us and my sister a few years ago. And it was really fun. Just hard because we really haven't gone back to it. You can go back and play it as like a standalone, but I don't think we've ever done that. So you can see it went 24 to 50. And it's so much fun as a legacy game and stuff that it's like, it's hard to play it when it's not. It's still probably a good game, but it's the legacy component, I think, just makes it that much more fun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's so good. Legacy games are so hard to score because, like, are you scoring the legacy game or are you scoring, like, what it is after the legacy is done? So, I do recommend it as a legacy game for sure. I know we had fun doing it. And I think it is a solid game if you want to just play it, as a game. We just have so many games. We just haven't gotten to it. But we do have the recharge pack and lots of other legacy games to play. So I'm not sure when or how we'll get all of these done, but I do look to the day that we replay the charge.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Because yeah, I definitely like the legacy part of it and feeling like you're kind of building something, creating a board, kind of. So
Yeah.
yeah, I look forward to doing that again. Yeah, I think it'd be a decent one. The games kind of remind me a little bit of My City and those types of games in kind of length, maybe a little bit longer than them. But that's kind of the feel that I got.
Yeah.
Where it was still pretty snappy and quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that these numbers just kind of perfectly show legacy games. It just shows up out of nowhere at 24. And you're just hot off that experience, and it just loses something. Uh, Still good. Still good.
There's definitely a recency bonus or like a fifth in my games that we picked, and then some of these definitely are like we haven't played some of them probably in a couple of years, which is so crazy. More about life later, and it's like which one of these do I really want to go back to play? So I feel like that's kind of been influencing what I've chosen.
Yeah. My 67 is, I don't know if I played this since last year, but it was just right on the edge. It wasn't on my list, and I looked back on it. I'm like, those mechanisms are too clever to not put on this list. So it didn't even make it at 70. It moved up to 67, and that is Furnace. Just for that bidding alone. You're bidding, you can see you have tokens, little discs numbered 1 through 4 or whatever, and you bid trying to win these cards that you'll put into your engine, which is a great engine builder as you're building it out and activating cards in whatever order you want to gain points, resources. But the best part is when you lose the bid. If you lose the bid and you have a disc there, it has a little compensation bonus at the top. You kind of see at the top of this, you get 2 stone or 2 coal or whatever. You multiply that bonus by the number that you use for your losing bid. So if you put a 3 down there, someone places a 4, you're getting 3 times a reward. And that's just unique. I don't see it in any other game. And it's so rewarding as you're just kind of outthinking your opponent. What can I play here to where I'll still lose it, but it'll still give me a bunch of stuff? So fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a really clean game for what it is. And I think maybe not super themey, but I think it comes with a lot of, yeah, I think you're right. I think it's great. You either win the card or you get the reward.
Yeah, it's a wonderful world, like in my opinion, where it's just kind of a really clean mechanism, but it's kind of just manipulating cubes in a way that's
Yeah.
best for you, in a way. And yeah, that bidding is amazing, and it's so strange because yeah, when I was first reading the rules, I was not understanding what it was saying. I'm like, what? Then once it clicked, and then we actually played it, I'm like, that's very clever.
A clever game.
My number 67 also is quite clean, like those games I just mentioned. But with its artwork, one could argue that it is very thematic, very, very thematic. It's a card game, and yeah, it's been a big hit for people everywhere, and is Dominion,
Oh,
the deck building game.
Oh, she felt
Yeah, she fell. I don't think
why do
we've
you
played
hate
it since
Dominion,
the
Zach?
last time. We've even gotten an expansion that a couple of expansions that I don't know if we've added in here, but yeah, every time I do play this one, I just have a ton of fun. Look forward to hopefully we get it to the table somewhat soon, but we'll see. I think it's one that you like.
I do like it. We just have so many games.
We've got too many games possibly.
Possible.
But yeah, Dominion, it's a great deck building game. It's so clean. You pick your hand of cards. It's crazy that it was like one of the first ones to kind of do some of these things, and it still holds up as arguably one of the best. Not the best. I couldn't argue against people that would say it was the best. So
It's true.
High praise.
It's true. It's a great one. I think it did fall off my list. I probably had it about where you had it. Just have not played it in a while. But I know if I did, I'd just be reminded how snappy and quick it is.
I wonder if the artwork was something I liked more, if it would be harder for it to drop. I don't know. It's not my favorite artwork. It's not
Well,
awful, but it's not my favorite.
oh, it's pretty insignificant though. The artwork doesn't really do anything other than illustrate what the card itself.
That's true.
That's
Oh, whatever. It's okay. Cool. Good pick. All right, my number is 66. There's a very good chance I didn't write the right title for this because for some reason we're all struggling real hard to say the title correctly because there's an expansion for a different game that sounds very similar. But this is new, the list to our collection, and we played it quite a few times, and we're really enjoying it. And that is Stonespire Architects.
Stone Spine
Dang it!
Architect.
Spine.
I wrote it wrong on my list.
Fire is the thing we always say wrong.
I was like, is it Spinecrest that we say wrong? I don't know.
Let us know in the comments below if you have called this Stone Spire Architects. I'm pretty sure
Yes.
I watched a couple of reviews on this one, and at least one time in each they said Stone Spire. So I don't know if it's just something about it. I don't know.
Just can't do it.
It's not like it looks like an R. It's
no.
just
No. It's just like it's spire. Yeah, like you think. Yeah. Anyway, so Stone Spine Architects has been a unique, I think, game to our collection. You can see Hort Gully behind me here, who's much cuter as a stuffy than he is on the cover of the box. But this one is a help me out here. What is this one?
Dungeon building.
Yep, that's what it is. Drafting.
It's a drafting game.
And then I don't know, would you call it like set collection? I mean, I guess you're
Route
working
building.
towards that and like
And yeah, there's some
goal cards and stuff that you're working towards.
end game
Yeah.
victory points, and yeah. Usually most of those have to do with some set collection where you're trying to get oozes or trying to get whatever in a column or a row or something. Trying to get traps and stuff, different ones. So
Mhm.
yeah, just trying to get different combinations of things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so I think it's been really good. The replayability I think is there, but I don't know long term how well it will be there because you are kind of always going down row by row and trying to optimize. The goals can certainly change. Sometimes you just really don't have many options, but I think it is a really strong game for what it is. It's unique, a little different than what we're kind of used to, and I think a pretty refreshing game into our collection this year. So,
Yeah, I have not played this one, so I look forward to trying it. And I don't know if I picked any good representational images here. I assume the top one's all right, but those bottom tokens, those could be very insignificant to the gameplay. I don't know.
they're part of it, but yeah, no, they're good pictures.
yeah, another hit from Thunderworks Games.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to rank Thunderworks games soon.
You might have to.
I gotta play all of them still. I'm scared.
My 66 is another board game, arena game, which is the tally we should be keeping. But this one you can play with a deck of cards. It's one of my top surprises of all time. This is Regicide. It's not a lot of pictures here. You have the court cards, each one of them representing a baddie that you are teaming up with your partners to defeat by playing cards and pretty much dealing that value of damage to those court cards. And each suit has a special ability, either getting you more cards into your hand, more cards into your deck, dealing twice the amount of damage, or providing you shield from their
Shielding you
attacks.
from their attacks.
Yeah. And depending on if you're facing one of that suit, one of the court cards of that suit, then that baddie negates the bonus of those types of their suit of cards. So it's really simple. You could play it with a deck of cards, but the artwork looks phenomenal. Even on Board Game Arena, it looks really cool. I assume it looks even better in your hand with the physical copy. And we played this a bunch. It's so quick, so snappy, so fun. I mean, it's like a battler, but just so compact in such a small package. And I can't wait to try out sometime in the future the legacy version that is coming out soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. This is a great pick, and I highly recommend looking into this if you are a big fan of card games, because I could see it even if you're not into board games typically, or if you have family members that are into card games. I think that I can see them liking this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so my number 66 is a card game. It's a two-player card game. So we got back-to-back card games here, but this one's two-player only. It's a trick-taking game, and that is Fox in the Forest. So this is a game that we've had for a while, and it kind of just hovers, I think, around. Haven't played it as much recently, so that's probably why it's dropped so much. Uh, Still a solid game, and yeah, we've actually gotten Fox in the Forest Duet, which I think you enjoy a little bit more than I do. It's solid, but I think the Fox in the Forest is just a little bit cleaner. It just feels really clean. You get special abilities on odd cards, and you're trying to win a certain amount of tricks without being too greedy or uh, whatnot, and you get a certain amount of points for that, and they're playing to a certain amount of points. So yeah, it's just a fun trick-taking game. Works really well for a two-player trick-taking game. I don't know that there's too many of those out there, but
Yeah.
yeah, solid game, great artwork.
Yeah, it keeps it interesting because different cards do different things. So got a nice set there.
Yeah. This might be the first one on a list all 4 years now.
Ooh,
It's hanging on there for me.
spicy. All right, we're down to 65, the halfway point. Thanks for sticking with us. My 65 is one we haven't played in a long time. So I remember this game. I remember liking this game, and last year was 58 on my list, and that is Resurgence, which
Ooh.
is a fun bag drawing game. Is that what you call it? You draw the chips out of the
Bag
bag?
building and
Yeah, bag building.
wow,
There you
he's
go.
got both the Half a Kingdom games in this 10.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes, I
Just
know what
in
those
Nova
are.
Roma.
Oh, okay. Got you. Yes. So this is kind of a cool, like, apocalyptic game. You're just trying to kind of get to different areas on the map, set yourself up for success. Kind of a different vibe than some of the games that we're used to. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's cool when it looks cool as well. Very just bright pops of color
Yes,
in this game.
The neon's great.
Hmm I think they're reprinting it as a different edition, so I don't know.
Oh,
I think the artwork's going to be
Yeah.
different, possibly. I think I'm going to prefer the look of this one, unless
Mhm.
maybe the inside doesn't change. I know the box cover is changing very
Yeah,
significantly.
the box cover, it's not that white and red. It's, I guess, I don't even know what to describe it as. I don't actually remember what it looks like. This one, I remember what this one looks like. So it's interesting that it's so quickly has another edition coming, a whole new look.
Yeah, I think it's just because I think they're publishing it with a different publisher to kind of
Oh,
get a bigger reach with the game. I think this one was kind of their first published game under that company, I think. So yeah, I like this one quite a bit. You've got the different locations that you're kind of bidding on as well. There's a little bit of that in there, and then taking those, and then I think you have to go to certain locations to complete different goal cards. I think that's a really cool thing.
yeah. My 65 is, I think it's new this year. Well, it's not new this year, but I think we got it last year. So it didn't make my list. I think we got it after, or maybe we got it long before that. I don't know, but this is a game that I believe we have a Champion Series episode 4. It's from the designers of another great game that's going to show up later. Husband and wife, I believe. Inca and Marcus Brand design Murano. This one's really got some cool mechanisms in it. It's a big board with actions printed around the edges, and all the players share the boats that you're moving around the board with the rule that you can't jump other boats, so certain spaces might be occupied, and depending which boat you choose, you may have different options available to you. That's cool enough, but I really love building out these islands, different islands in the center of the board, putting different buildings on them, different sidewalks with different colored people, customers trying to fulfill certain buildings. And the main juice of this game are these scoring cards, which you put one of your pawns, you can pay to score the different islands. You can even score an island more than once. And what that is, you put one of your player pawns at a particular island, and then at the end of the game, you assign one of your scoring cards to each of your pawns. So it's just really cool to not know for sure what you're going to score for this island, which of your cards you're going to assign there, and try to build it out to fulfill certain requirements. It's so unique to just have that kind of fluid influx scoring for the end of the game.
I like that about this one quite a bit. And yeah, just you can kind of you could argue there's like take that, so to say, but most of the time you don't necessarily know what your opponents are going for, but they might like mess up an island that you're like, I needed that to score it or whatever with your card, and then you're trying to, maybe push back and score it a different way, and they're trying to do something else. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yep.
And my number 65, I think, is on Board Game Arena. And this was one that was on a list of games I wanted a few years back that we did, I believe. And yeah, you ended up getting it for me. This one's got the Mancala. That is Crusaders Thy Will Be Done.
Interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, this one, it's just a lot of fun. You kind of get to power up these actions on here and try to take a really powerful move. You can essentially upgrade some of those pizza slices so that you kind of have two actions on them, and you can kind of split them and have them going towards each. And as you're progressing on the game, you kind of get like bonus towards like these actions. So you have these little buildings that you're putting out on the map that there is, and then they're kind of giving you additional things towards your actions as well. So they become quite powerful. It's just a lot of fun trying to think about how, oh, when am I going to trigger this? How powerful do I need it? And then going across the board, defeating the, I don't know, different factions that are out there, trying to score as many points as you can. And then it's kind of a pool of points. So you're playing until that it finishes. I think it makes it go really quick for what it is. And yeah, it's just a really fun game.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking it needs a pizza re-theme to this game where you're moving the ingredients around.
I don't know what
There you
they'd
go.
be conquering, but you could figure it out, maybe.
Yeah, there's something there. I can't believe this was your 26 last year. I don't remember it even being on your list.
I feel like he forgot about it and then he added it in randomly.
Maybe.
But maybe we might have like just played it once or twice right before we made the list. I know that sometimes it sometimes affects it and kind of maybe bumps it a little higher.
When we recently got the expansion for it too.
Yeah.
I like the
That's true.
Yeah. Yes. All right. 64. Mine was 53 last year. And we played it a few times. It was kind of hot there for a minute, and then I don't think we've really gone back to it since. And I think because you're kind of like meh on it, so I blame you entirely for this. But it is Expedition.
Ooh.
I think my second Stonemaier game. How's that, Pepper? So yeah, the struggle here is that we just haven't played it in a while, but I remember liking kind of moving your kind of big mech out and having like a special ability for each of your big mechs, and then there's a bunch of different card styles, and you're still going, I think, for 6 stars, is it? Kind of like Psy, so kind of Psy adjacent, but not the same. And yeah, you're getting like little different meeples that kind of help you do different tasks and going up different tracks, and kind of exploring the board. So I think it's fun. I think we were concerned about some replayability when we reviewed it. I think, was he coming with an expansion for this too?
We have the expansion.
We have the expansion. We haven't played it yet, so we'll see if that helps it at all. But I liked this game. I feel like it was a nice kind of step back from Psy, where it's not nearly as intense, but for people who really enjoy Psy, it might be a little disappointing in that way. So I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it was good. I think, yeah, it's just so easy to compare to Psy, and The puzzle for me, I thought wasn't quite as good as the one per side. So I think that's just one of the reasons. But I think there were a couple different things that he added with the expansion, and I was thinking that would help a little bit. Like I think you get a wild worker, and I think that was one of my issues about kind of maybe early on in the game, depending on what you're getting, kind of could sometimes limit what actions you could take. But yeah, we need to get this one back to the table.
I agree.
Yep. And I need to try it for the first time.
Come
My 64 is another Board Game Arena game. And I think I actually played it on Tabletopia as well.
Alright.
So I played it on every digital platform almost, but not the physical version. And I think this is an Uwe Rosenberg game. And it might, I guess, then be my highest. I don't know if it is his. For some reason, I think it's his. It is Sagani. Yes, it is Uwe Rosenberg. This is one that I had played it on Tabletopia, quit Tabletopia, and I'm like, I really want that game on Board Game Arena. I want to play it some more. It's not really a well-known game, so I'm like, there's no way that happens. Then it showed up one day, and I really like this one. I played it solo a bunch. I got a little, I think it's a premium game, and I cashed in some of my points to get a premium month when you were in Scotland, and I played this a bunch solo, and I really like it that way. I don't know how it changes for multiplayer, but pretty much this game, you have these different colored tiles, and as you can see, there's colored arrows on the tiles, and you're just keep playing them out in this grid, trying to have those colored tiles in that direction to pretty much put discs on those little spots and complete the tiles to score their points. So the 10-point ones need to have 4 different colors in certain directions. 6-point ones need 3, and lesser points for easier tiles. And it's also, you have to kind of manage the amount. You only have, I think, like 12 discs that you get to put on there. So you can't just have everything outstanding, nothing completed. Because once you hit your max, you start taking red discs, which are negative points at the end of the game. So it's a really cool kind of race trying to keep up with your needs in the game. I like it.
Yeah, I think I played it once with you, and it was good. I should play this one again. I do like the puzzle that it presents.
It's very interesting box cover art.
That's true.
Not
I
a big-
actually haven't looked too closely at it before. That is weird. Like you're unleashing like kind of like a genie type of thing from these things thematically. So a little weird.
Scary fish.
With blubberfish or whatever.
That's a fun pick, Pepper. Fun pick. My number 64 is one that's kind of just been dropping, mainly due to I haven't played it much. I don't even know if I've played it in the last 2 years. It's been a while since I played it.
Oh.
It was very high at one point, and that is After the Empire.
This was your 4 the first year.
Yeah, this is one that I
Big drop.
definitely want to play some more, but yeah, I just haven't had the chance to play it.
I don't think this game is physically here anymore, is it?
No,
That's right.
but yeah, this is one that I enjoy quite a bit. I think it's the closest thing to tower defense that I've seen in a board game that I've played, and I really enjoy that part about it. I just like, I don't know, going at it. So it's got worker placement in it. It might be a little bit long sometimes, but I think just uh, I don't know, the gameplay itself, you're kind of setting up, trying to get some, I think the mercenaries and stuff, otherwise you have your own warriors that you're trying to keep alive and stuff, and then you have to decide where to put them on which walls, and you have a little bit of information on where the people will be attacking from the next time. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I do like the fact that when so your walls there you can be taken down potentially, but you get the cubes and stuff back, the ones that were in there, right? as they're being taken off of there, which at least is nice to get some of what you paid to build them initially back.
You get to go out and gather the rubble and rebuild.
Exactly. And yeah, I don't know the one thing with this one. So there's kind of a track of like how crazy you want to go, and depending on how far you are in points, right? Is kind of how bad the attack is.
Oh, yep.
Because they're looking for the loot. They want to go for the person that has the most. So there could be that problem. I think it would be quite difficult to win the game if you're like just sailing ahead in points early on. I don't know. I think it would be pretty hard to overcome. You'd have to play very well, I think.
Yeah, it can be pretty punishing, but also rewarding and easy on you at the same time.
Interesting, dear. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my 63 is brand new to the list. Brand new game that I learned this year and got gifted, so it's already in the collection. And that is Wild Child West, which we saw this at Gen Con last year, but we didn't pick it up. And then we played it at a con back in February, and you got it for me for my birthday after I really liked it. So we played this a few times, and it's been really fun to learn. It's a polyomino game, but it has some unique elements to it where you have to choose between certain types of polyominoes. You might not get the best pick, and you kind of do what you can, which also then gives you an element of like, are you making pastures? Are you covering up a whole town? How many bandits do you have? Can you reach the bandits with your sheriff? And then if so, can you turn your bullets into coffins? Or no, gravestones. Yeah, tombstones. So I think it's really great. It's so funny. I think the bullets into tombstones was just really, really clever. And kind of how they set that up. So I've enjoyed our plays of this, just kind of feeling out how to kind of best get around your map. Don't be a completionist and just try and do the things that are going to get you points and kind of work with the game. So I feel like it's been really fun. And I actually think it's fairly thematic for what it is. You know, a lot of games I feel like really lack the theme, but I think this one actually kind of hits it a little bit better than the average. So very fun.
Yeah, I remember I was just getting these images and I saw that you can put the bullets face down or standing up, but they actually stand for different things. They become a tombstone. That's really cool.
Yeah. Isn't that just fun?
It is really fun.
And there's one where it's like, how many tombstones do you have on your board? You're like, yes, me.
And you're right. There is something about it that does feel thematic.
Yeah.
Can't wait to play it.
I don't know if it's the cowboy boot or the cows.
Cowboy boot is really cool. I've not seen a cowboy boot meeple before.
Yeah, I can't remember what that is. That a Wrangler?
Yeah, that's to mark. I think mark the pastures that you've scored.
That's right.
Oh boy, and I'm finally doing my classic vintage pepper cheating here with my 63. This probably is about 7 games. It's a universe of games and Oniverse of games. And this includes these probably top ones, probably Nautilion, then Onirim, then Stellarion, then Arion, and then there's a bunch more. Some I haven't even tried yet, some I have, just not as good as these ones. I really enjoy this series of primarily solo focused games with a ton of variants packed into the boxes. They usually, I think Nautilion has like 5 of them, 5 different little variants that you can play. They're usually very simple to start, but that you can just make them more and more complicated as much as you want. Taking little simple mechanisms like roll and move, or kind of a Yahtzee mechanism, or just solitaire game, and mixing it up in a unique and beautiful way. I like the artwork and art style throughout these. Not going to be perfect for most people, I'm sure. It's a pretty divisive style, but I enjoy it.
think they look unique, kind of cool.
And each
Not
one
your
has
typical- not your typical board game art.
no. Each of these monsters kind of has a big chunky plastic piece in the game as well.
Nice.
Good choice. Maybe. I think I've tried a couple of them. They're good. My number 63 is new to the list. Is a board game arena game. It is one that I played with Pepper. And it was one that I had quite a bit of fun with. I think there's still things that I don't fully know about the game. I've only played it a couple times, but I know I really enjoyed it. And this one, you're kind of, in a way, traveling through time, and it is Anachrony.
In a way, it's all about time travels.
It's all about time travel.
Oh boy.
And this one, you've got some worker placements. So you've got like these mechs pretty much that you get, I think like 3 each round, right, for free.
Yep.
And then you can pay to have additional ones. So then that's how many kind of workers you're going to get to place and how many of those you have. And there's sometimes ways, I think, to get additional ones and stuff for free, or I think I had a bonus that helped me get one for cheap or free or something. But then you've also got kind of different worker types that have to man those different mechs, so then they can go to different worker placement spots, and depending on what kind you use, you can get discounts, or else like some areas you can't use certain ones. And I found that kind of managing those kind of things was a lot of fun. And then you're just using resources and stuff to kind of get some upgrades or whatever for your little area that you're working on in order to take kind of some bonus actions potentially where you can just use the workers and you don't need the mech to do it. So you can kind of use the workers for the 2 different types of things. So found that pretty fun. And then there's the kind of debt element where you have to then go back and pay it, go back in time, be in a different time. I think I haven't played it enough to fully explain that part, but I know there's ways to kind of go back. There's actions that you can get to do that, and then you can like pay off the debt. Otherwise, it can kind of come back to hurt you a little bit if you leave it there. So
yeah, I wasn't interested in that part, but it does give you other benefits instead of just not negative things. I think like you can move up on some track and gain more points. So it's not just pay your debts or else. It actually gives you some stuff, which I'm looking forward to exploring more in future games. It wasn't that bad, Mac. You surprisingly liked some of the crunchiest games that we own, Mac, and I think you might like this one.
This definitely sounds like a game Zach would like. I do not know.
I think it was simpler than I had expected it to be because I don't know, the things I'd heard about it, I'm like, this one's going to be really heavy. And there's definitely some things that take a little bit more thought, but a lot of what it does was pretty simple or regular worker placement stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on, my 62 is also a new to this list game. And it's one that I was a little hesitant to learn, but I think after my first play, I was like, this is actually pretty good. And I think we played 2 more times now. Well, I have. You probably have played a few more times. And I keep enjoying it, so I think it's growing on me. And that is Teotihuacan, City of the Gods, I think. Yes, I got it right. So this is a unique, I don't know, it reminds me of Verano where you're like moving around a board for like a set action, except you're not really stuck anywhere. You just have to pay to play. And it's got a bunch of unique elements to it of like, yes, there are a couple of places where you're just going to get resources, but then there's other places like you can see on the board where you're going to build a pyramid or you're going to get like bonuses when you do actions or just kind of going up or building these, I think, houses of the dead or something like that. And so it was super intimidating. I will say that the pyramid piece is something I'm still working out typically on these bigger games, I avoid the really hard thing until I feel like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go for it and try and figure it out. So I'm still working on figuring this out, but I have really enjoyed just the mechanism of going around, and then shifting your dice, and how the dice number addition, how many dice colors are on the play area kind of fold into like the full effect of what happens when you go there. It's not just go there and do this, it's go there, but here are all the things you have to consider if you go there. So it's simplicity and streamlined, but then it adds like some real good elements of like, just kidding, it's not that simple. So
That's a good one. That's the T games are like surprisingly approachable. I found in the ones I've played. I mean, there's a lot going on, and you can
I
crunch.
don't know. I'm still terrified of Teotihuacan. No. What's the one with the obelisk? Takenu?
Takenu. Yeah.
I'm still very terrified of that one.
Yeah, they have that to them where they can still be very tight feeling games where it's like, I'm just scrounging to get any number of points here. But yeah, it's when you play them a little bit, it's like you can kind of feel it letting loose a little bit more.
It's just like, just take a die, do an action. It's simple. You'll have fun. Ah!
Yeah.
My 62. Have we had any crossovers? This might be our first crossover of the list so far. We probably
Teotihuacan, Pepper?
No. But it is a very clever crossover. Gone shown clever. That's pretty clever. All the reasons you said. The bonuses are awesome. This is the granddaddy of roll and write games, of bonuses, chaining effects games. I like it a lot, and I haven't played the sequels as much as you have, but looking forward to trying them. And I'm surprised to see it was my 2936 off the list, and now back on the list. So I guess this is where it was sitting off the list at 62.
That's where it was sitting. Wow, I can't believe this one came off your list either.
Wow.
Must have forgot it. Good pick. Good pick. Crossover. Speaking of crossovers, I think this one will maybe eventually be a crossover. Maybe not. We'll see. But it is a game that I think has been on my list multiple years. Maybe not. I think it has.
You shouldn't be making all these promises.
But yeah, it's a solid game, and you're making sets of different bands of things and playing them. It is Ethnos.
Ah.
Yes, it was on there, but it's fallen more than 4 than it had fallen the last couple times.
Goodness.
And yeah, this is one that's just a ton of fun. There's definitely some luck involved as to what you're drawing in cards sometimes. So it can come down to that a little bit, but playing the bands is fun because you get special effects. You can either play them all of the same kind or all of the same color, and then choose the leader. And each kind of like you got merfolk, and there's a mer track, depending on how many you had on there, and that'll go up. Or all of them have different effects, which I find really fun, and it really makes me wish it was like there was expansion content for this one. I think there might be some small promo where you could get it, but it's like otherwise, retheme it or redo it or something, and they did, and unfortunately, the new thing I feel like is I don't know, not quite as fun looking as this. So I'm like, well, that's a little disappointing. Waited all of these years for that reprint and didn't quite do it the same for me. I haven't played it. Maybe if I played it, I would change my mind. But I like this one quite a bit.
Yeah, gonna have to wait 10 more years.
Good pick. It's lots of replayability in that game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, our last set, guys. 61 coming to the table right now is a new to me or new to the list game. I actually had it for 2 years. We haven't got high enough for me to put it on the list.
Wow.
No, it's good. It's just challenging, and it's a really long game for us to play. So that's why I feel like yeah, I don't know. It's Ark Nova, which is like the hotness for the board game community in like the last 2 years, and we've played it a few times, and I like it more and more the more we play it. It does take, I think, a little bit of time to kind of learn it and figure it out. Wouldn't say I'm an expert by any means in this, but it's got some unique elements to it. It talks about, like being like a terraforming Mars killer and stuff like that. And I don't know if that's the case. I wouldn't agree with that, but I do think it is kind of fun and unique in its own way. So, I've enjoyed Ark Nova. Throw it on here.
Yeah, I don't think I made my list. This is one that's on our 20 by 5, and we've played it a few more times, and I think it's rising for me. So could make my list next year. Probably.
Yeah, there's a lot of good parts to it, but there's a lot to it.
I think this one's on Board Game Arena too. I don't know if I've ever played it on there though.
Might have to try.
Save you some time.
My 61 is, I think it was a giveaway one of our years. It's one of my favorite IPs. Finally got a game that I can enjoy it with. That is Marvel United. Just the whole United franchise. I love. It's so simple and approachable. You just play your cards, get one of like 4 symbols, do actions with it, move around the board, deal damage to bad guys, rescue civilians. Each bad guy has a unique goal that they're trying to do, a unique effects that they have in the game to hurt you, and a bunch of awesome chibi miniatures in the game. It's just so fun to pick and choose what heroes you want to team up this time and who you want to take down. And I can't wait to get that DC United, at least the core box, and get Batman involved in this. Team him up with Iron Man. Have some epicness.
Can't wait for that. I'm
One
guessing
moody billionaire versus another.
exactly. Most people can't wait for that battle. They've been asking for it for a while now, I think. So it's no surprise that Simon brought it to light, but we'll see when they deliver it. That is a good pick, Pepper. That is a solid pick. But the last one for today is our second crossover, and it was almost a crossover on the number. It was very close. And it is a crossover with Michaela.
Ooh.
And it is Teotihuacan,
Hey.
City of Gods. Is that the? Yes. So yeah, this is one that's also on our 20 by 5. And every time we play it, just continues to grow. There's just a lot of good stuff. I don't know. It's funner and funner each time we play it, I think, because you just, like I said, it just feels like it's the strictness that it felt like right away of, oh gosh, can't do anything. I don't have the resources. It kind of opens up. It's still tight for sure, but
Yeah.
you can feel like you're doing a little bit more, I think, as you play it more and more times.
And last
And
time
yeah.
I think we were even brave enough to break out like the different layout boards.
Yeah. So yeah, you can put it in a different order, random order if you want to, just to kind of change it up. Otherwise, you kind of would have the different actions in the same spot, so you could maybe come up with a certain strategy. But yeah, that definitely kind of like Nova Roma changes it very significantly in this game potentially, because you might have some payment thing that's like right after a tile that requires it, so or whatever, and that it can be pretty significant.
Cool.
But yeah, it's a solid game. I think it's my highest T game, but I would say I think I almost had this on my list, but I just been a while since I played it. Toledo probably would have been on my list and would have been higher than this for T games, but we only played it once. I just remember really, really loving it. So
Yeah, I like
just need to mention that.
I like that game too. We just haven't played it since. So I was thinking about putting it on mine, but I'm like, yeah, I just don't remember it well enough. So
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so there's our 70 through 61. If you made it this far, like the video, subscribe so you can see our future 60 through 1 and see what we got as our top games. Like I said, let us know in the comments below what your 70 through 61 are if you have that, or just let us know which ones of these you liked or didn't like as much. We'd love to hear it. Or if you want any additional content on any of these, let us know.
Yes.
We may also have some already.
Yeah.
You can go check it out.
Yes. Make your predictions. Will there be more Stonemeyer games on Zach's list, or more Garfield games? It's real tight right now at 0
It's real
apiece.
I think Mikhail is at 2-0, but she's also has 2 for half a kingdom game, so they're right in the mix.
I mean,
I think that's the only 2 they've got, though. So it's going to be tough uphill battle. But yeah, that's all we got for you today. But otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.